Hi, I'm James Marsden, Managing Director of Futurlab, and you're watching Platform32.
Size isn't everything. Well, at least that's what I tell my girlfriend anyway. But when it comes to games, it's easy to forget that there is an immense amount of talent hidden behind the big budget AAA retail titles. I took a trip down to Brighton to visit Futurlab, the indie developers behind 2010's PlayStation Mini's Game of the Year Coconut Dodge, to check out their upcoming downloadable game Velocity and see if they can once again cram big fun into a tiny package. So tell me guys, what's Velocity all about and why is it so darn special?
So Velocity is a game that lives up to the classic shoot 'em up genre, but it offers you something completely new in the form of teleportation, which is awesome.
It basically turns it from being a plain 8-bit style shoot 'em up from Japan into an actual puzzle game. It's more like Exile, again, which the game had teleporting in it first, but it completely changes the way the game works. So it's not just a trad shoot 'em up. It's really, really fast. I mean, you don't have to play it like that, but it never slows down, doesn't flicker. It's slick and sharp, so it doesn't feel like you're playing a minis game. It feels like you're playing something people have actually put some effort into. I'm a programmer, and we're supposed to be kind of logical and cynical and a bit autistic about this kind of stuff. We actually think about things before we say it. I'm not very good at advertising or anything like that, but I'm pretty certain this is the best minis game on the market.
Ever.
Definitely.
Sweet! So, teleportation. It's the game's biggest feature. How did that idea come about?
It actually grew a little bit from the controls in Coconut Dodge. So the way we were designing the mazes in Coconut Dodge forced the player to use different speeds to navigate the mazes. Thinking about the mechanics of using the turbo button in Coconut Dodge to dash, I thought, how can you futurize that? How can you make that exciting? And just thought teleporting's cool. So we thought let's add teleportation to the genre, and use these kind of dash mechanics to teleport through terrain rather than dodging terrain, if you see what I mean, that we were doing in Coconut Dodge. But then as we were playing it, we were kind of feeling the rhythm of it, and thinking you could have a secondary weapon here, as well as shooting a cannon. You could fling bombs as well. So, but it's all about this sideways movement, twitch, dash, movement, and that was super fun as well. So we build levels based on being able to teleport into the right area at the right time, fling bombs in all different directions, and then get out quickly. That was like the concept. And it took a long time to prototype it and get the controls feeling right.
Teleportation in a shoot 'em up is pretty much unheard of. How is it possible to include it in a genre which has constantly scrolling levels without it just becoming massively confusing and awkward to use?
In order for a player to know what the hell's going on, you need to scroll really, really slowly to give them an opportunity to scan the environment and see what they've got to do. But the result of that is that sometimes the game can get really, really dull and slow, because you've kind of cleared an area and now you've got to wait for the next bit. So we added a boost, so you could boost through these sections, through these set pieces, if you like. So adding the boost control acts kind of like a flow state pedal, and to qualify that a little bit, the player is able to decide how difficult they want the game at any time. So if they're feeling challenged, they can back off on the boost. But if they've played this level a few times and they know what's coming, and they want to go after the best time, they can just hold down boost and just burst all the way through the level really quickly.
The ability to control the scroll with a boost took me a few goes to get used to, as did becoming accurate with my teleportation, but I quickly got the hang of it and went from plodding along, crashing into walls, to teleporting with the best of them in only a few minutes. These mechanics definitely kept it feeling fresh, even though the top-down shoot 'em up is a pretty tired genre. But Futurlab didn't want to stop there. How have you guys used level design to enhance the gameplay?
We learned a lot from the Coconut Dodge gameplay. The thing that people really enjoyed about it were these mazes that were super challenging and relied on muscle memory, and were quite short, and therefore appropriate for a portable device. So we thought, we'll take all of those things and we'll apply it to our shoot 'em up. So we started thinking of ways to make levels short and challenging, but as a result of adding all these extra mechanics, like long form teleport, which is where you can drop a teleport and return back to it, and bomb flinging, we realised that there were lots of different types of levels you could design using these mechanics.
Each level had a theme. It was either going to be a racing theme where there was a clear route and you had to try and just avoid the obstacles and get through as quickly as possible, holding down the boost button at all times. And then we had what we called the search and rescue levels, which were much more about exploration. And so these would involve long form teleporting more. There'd be like little hidden rooms and different routes to take, so it would be a calmer experience, but all about sort of finding all the survivors and pickups. And then we'd also have the more traditional shoot 'em up levels where there'd be loads of aliens and you'd have to shoot everything in sight and blast all the glass and collect as many points as possible.
So we mix those up during the game. Every 4 or 5 levels I think you get a speed level, just kind of get the adrenaline going, and then that's very stressful, playing those kind of levels to get to the end. So then following those levels we've got a nice chilled out search and rescue level where you're just being rewarded for rescuing survivors and things like that.
So everything takes about 2 minutes to play through. It's so that you never get bored, and if there's a bit that's really annoying or difficult, I don't think there is, but if there's a bit that someone finds tricky, you'll be playing it again seconds after having failed. You don't have to go plough through big chunks of gameplay or movies or anything like that. So it's nice and snappy.
As I played the game, I noticed there were medals awarded at the end of each level for points and speed of completion. It's pretty clear here that the levels are set out in such a way that people will want to play the game over and over again to try and beat their high scores. So does this mean that there will be online leaderboards?
Unfortunately not. The Minis platform doesn't support any online features. So there will be no online leaderboards, but we've introduced our own set of trophies because as there are no online features, it means there's no PSN trophies. So we've got 140 of our own trophies that you can unlock.
Talking about unlocking things, I do love my Easter eggs in games. Does Velocity have any Easter eggs we should be looking out for?
There are 20 trophies that are hidden in secret rooms, so these are pickups to find, so they're scattered throughout the 50 levels. And there are also 20 bonus missions to unlock, and these can also be unlocked by finding the bonus mission trophy or icon that's hidden throughout the level as well. And they unlock 20 extra levels, one of which is quite familiar if you are a fan of Coconut Dodge, Coconut set in space. We've got a variety of other different bonus missions.
I think we've got 200 Easter eggs in Velocity. Some of them are repeated ones, like there's different backdrops for stuff. I'm definitely not going to mention where they are, but there's tons and tons and tons of extras in there, so yes, it'll take a while. It may have the most Easter eggs of any game ever written that's been commercially released. It may not, it may be only 3 or 2 in that particular ranking system, but it's a lot of stuff in there. And for a minis game which costs a few pounds, it's definitely got more stuff in it than you'd expect.
Damn, that's a lot of Easter eggs. I'm going to be in eggy heaven looking for all of those. But tell me, Robin, what's your favourite Easter egg in the game? Which one should we really be looking out for?
There's Smith's Challenge. There's a chap called Jeremy Smith who back in the 1980s helped write a game called Exile and another game called Thrust. Unfortunately, he was killed in a motorcycle accident when he was pretty young. So this is my little dedication to him because he's like a hero for a lot of coders. Thrust was the first game to have Newtonian physics in it, which if you're a geek like me is pretty important. So I wrote a replica of that, and it's a little hidden game you can unlock. And you've got loads of levels to play Thrust in the olden days.
Awesome! I love the fact that there are mini games hidden within Velocity. It shows a level of depth that you just don't get from other PS Minis in the PlayStation Store. Now, an interesting fact about Velocity is that its soundtrack was actually created by Joris de Man, winner of an Ivor Novello Award for his work on the Killzone series for the PS3. James, how did such a small indie studio like yours manage to get such a big name involved with the game?
Well, I was trying to create the soundtrack myself using my bedroom crap skills. Got it as far as I could and just thought, this game is actually becoming really, really fun and it's really special. So my music isn't good enough, basically. So I thought, let's get in contact with someone who's amazing at doing what they do. And through a friend, I got introduced to Joe. So I sent him all of my tracks and said, got this game, it's really cool. We need a big soundtrack for it. Would you be interested in doing it on an indie budget? And to my complete surprise, he said yes. Came round and had a look at the game, totally loved it, and found time in his schedule to take my tracks and produce them to a level of quality that I could never have done myself, and also added a hell of a lot of emotional depth with his layering of melodies and things. So he basically took my sketches and made them great.
Finally, Robin, if you had the power of teleportation, what would you use it for?
For disgusting... Wait, is this being filmed? To do good?
Ah, yeah, good save. I think I'll avoid Brighton if teleporters are ever invented though, just in case. The addictive and inventive nature of the gameplay, plus the masses of hidden extras and bonus games, means that Velocity is shaping up to be incredible value for money. I only got to play the game for an hour or so, but it was instantly clear that Futurlab have once again managed to create something very special. The magic that made Coconut Dodge such a hit is back by the bucket load, but this time the team have managed to build upon it and in the process revitalise an old school genre that was in desperate need of some new ideas. So whether you have a PS3, a PSP or a Vita, I urge you to head down to the PlayStation Store and give Velocity a download as soon as it's released on the 28th of March.